This is Rock the Jam Man is with Doogie White. How you doing, man?
My name is Doogie White.
Doogie, sorry, Doogie.
It's like don't blame it on the boogie, right? Don't blame it on sunshine. Just blame it on Doogie.
Just blame it on the Doogie.
I'm doing very well.
Congratulations on the re-release of As It Untitled.
As Yet Untitled, yeah. Thank you very much. I did it. I recorded it with some friends 11 years ago, and I got the rights to the album back at Christmas time, and it just seemed like the right time to re-release it because I have 2 bonus tracks on it, and also a CD of cover versions, which is great, ranging from Iron Maiden through Whitesnake to UFO to Thin Lizzy to the Rolling Stones. Nazareth, a whole bunch of different covers, 12 cover songs on there. So it's a nice package to have. There it is, look at that.
Wow.
It's a good sleeve as well, actually. I like the sleeve.
You like it, eh?
I do like it. And you get a wee picture of me as well, look.
Oh, that's cool. Oh my God, that actually looks pretty cool.
So it's good. I'm pleased with it.
What made you put this album out again? What made you put?
Why did I re-release it?
Yes, why?
Yeah, I re-released it because I got the rights back, and the record company approached me and said, would you like to re-release your album? And I said, yes. And they said, well, we have a whole bunch of cover versions you did back in the 90s, in 99, 2000, and we could put it together and make a double package for people who like what you do. And I said, that would be brilliant. So rather than just re-releasing the solo album with 2 extra bonus tracks, it has the 2 extra bonus tracks, but it also has the bonus CD of covers.
Now, this is a double album, this time with a bunch of extra tracks. Who are some of the people on this album? Who are some of the people?
Okay, well, on my solo album, we have Patty Russo. Now, Patty Russo is an old friend of mine. She was staying with me at the time, and I needed someone to be the second voice on the opening song, Come Taste the Band. And so I just asked Patty, and Patty said, I'd love to do it. And of course, if you've ever heard Patty sing, you know what a noise she makes. And so she did it in 1 take because that was all the neighbours could stand. I've got Neil Murray, who was the original bass player in Whitesnake, and he also played with Black Sabbath and with Brian May. And Colosseum and Colosseum 2. I mean, he's a great friend. We used to be neighbours when we lived in London together, and we used to be coffee drinking buddies. I have Derek Sherinian, who I'm sure you know, and I toured the world with Derek with Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie wouldn't play on the album, but that's okay because I'd just done 2 albums with him. I also have Tony Carey on keyboards, and Tony was the keyboard player with Rainbow. He's had a hugely successful career in Europe as a solo artist, but he was the keyboard player on Rainbow Rising and Rainbow on Stage. And I asked him to do a keyboard intro similar to the one that he did for Tarot Woman on Rainbow Rising. And he sent me 3, and I picked the longest one, which is good. And then I've got Pontus Nordgren from Hammerfall. I've got Paul Logue from Eden's Curse. I've got Phil Hilborn all playing guitar. I've got Patrick Johansson, who was with me in Yngwie's band, and Thomas Broman, who played with Glenn Hughes and Joe Lynn Turner.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, man. That's just, you had a lot of good people there, man. Good, congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
So tell me about the time you tried out for Iron Maiden. Tell me about that time.
I didn't get the job, let's say that, okay? I didn't get the job. I was recording in Belgium, in Brussels in Belgium. I was doing an album there, and a friend of mine phoned me up and said Bruce was going to be leaving Iron Maiden at the end of the tour. And I should really send a tape into Sanctuary. So when I got home from doing the album, I put together 4 or 5 songs and sent them in. And I got contacted and told that I would be singing with Iron Maiden on the Monday. And I had got a cassette with, I think, 20 songs or something, and I had to learn them over the weekend, which was a tall order. But I was younger then, I could remember things. And I went in and I sang with them on the Monday. And what they did was, it was up at Steve Harris's house, right? And it's the area that the studio was in is an old farm house, an outbuilding. And they stood round me in a circle. So I had Yannick and Davey and Bruce, Steve, and I put Nico behind me so that at least the drums were coming from behind. And we just went through the songs and then had a cup of tea and a ginger snap biscuit. And then we went back and did some more songs. And then they asked me back again, but they gave the gig to Blaze. And, you know, Blaze did a great job. And then the planets realigned and the universe was saved and Iron Maiden became the greatest metal band on the planet.
Huh. I guess the universe was saved then.
Wasn't it?
And the multiverse.
And the multiverse. Okay.
The multiverse. Is that okay? Is that when Blaze ended up getting the gig?
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was that?
Is that when Blaze ended up getting the gig?
Yeah, Blaze got the gig. He was a very, you know, a lot of bands go out and when their original singer leaves, they get somebody who sounds like the original singer. And there's evidence of that all over the place. Steve wanted to do something completely different. And so rather than get a Bruce copyist in, he got somebody who was completely different. And it allowed them to write a different style of metal or have a different melody line over what they did. But it was great. I mean, he did a great job. I saw them maybe 2 or 3 times, and he was really good.
How different do you think Iron Maiden would have been if you got that gig?
Well, it's not something you can really speculate on. I don't really look back. I mean, I didn't get the job as Jesus Christ Superstar either. But I don't look back on it. You know, I don't think that it would have made any difference. If I had got the job with Maiden, I don't think it would have made any difference. Bruce and Adrian would still have come back. You know, I might have been a richer man, but then I wouldn't have got to play with Ritchie Blackmore, and that was really my dream, was to play from when I was 15 years old, you know, was to play with Ritchie Blackmore.
But you ended up getting a gig with Rainbow. How did that all come about?
I gave a tape to Ritchie's tour manager when Deep Purple were on tour. I said, if Ritchie ever needs a singer, here you go. And I was over in Germany. I had just been offered a job with a German metal band. And I was coming back to have that difficult conversation. You'll know about this. Coming back to have a difficult conversation with my girlfriend because I was going to have to move to Germany and she wasn't going to be able to come. But when I got back, there was a sign on my door saying that Ritchie Blackmore's secretary had called. And so we got in touch and Ritchie sent me tickets over and I flew over and I auditioned for Rainbow. And I was there for, 3.5 happy years. It was good fun. We did one album called Stranger in Us All. We toured the world. We played some brilliant concerts. We did some good festivals. And we had a great time. And Ritchie went off in his time machine back to the 1600s, and where he currently resides, apparently.
What was it like being in the band? What was it like?
Oh, the band were great. I mean, everybody in the band played. We rehearsed the songs as songs, but then you never quite knew where Ritchie was going to go during the solos and during the intros and outros. But the band were good enough and professional enough and stunning players, you know. Chuck Burgey, who now plays with Billy Joel, has been playing with Billy Joel for the last 20 years. Greg Smith, who's now playing with Ted Nugent, but has also played with, you know, Alice Cooper and everybody. And Paul Morris, who's an amazing keyboard player from Queens in New York. And it was a great band. And Ritchie had faith in everybody that we could all do a good job, because he had a lot to prove. I mean, he had just left Deep Purple, so he was still firing on all cylinders then. He had a lot to prove at that point, because Deep Purple were riding high on the first album they did with Steve Morse, and Ritchie was at the third top of his game. You know, I got him, and we played together when he was really, really cooking, and it was great.
Is it true that you came on stage one night and told the crowd you used to sell hot dogs there?
That's true. That is true. At the same time, when I gave the tape to Ritchie Blackmore's tour manager, I was working at a very famous venue in London called the Hammersmith Odeon. And I was working there selling hot dogs and popcorn and Pepsi Cola. Other colas, of course, are available. And I think it was maybe it was either Mr. Big or Extreme that were playing one night. And members of the Great British Music Press came and bought popcorn from me and Coca-Cola from me and went up onto the balcony and started throwing popcorn and ice cubes down at me. And so I quit that night and never went back. And the next time I was in the Hammersmith Odeon, we were playing 2 sold-out nights there, which was fun.
That's awesome, man. But it's still, even though I didn't do it, I apologize for that happening to you.
It's okay. I have wreaked my revenge on them.
Oh, you got your revenge.
Of course. It's a dish well served cold.
What caused you to part ways? What caused you to part ways?
It just, these things just come to an end. I mean, I can't go into it. You know, it's you know, Ritchie's never talked about it. I don't like to talk about it. It was a sad night, but I knew I had to go. I had to leave. And I called the management when I got home and said, if I don't hear from you within 24 hours, you can consider this my resignation. I'll also put it in writing. And of course, I had to put it in writing and put a stamp on it and send it over to America, because there were no emails back then, no mobile phones either. It was a much simpler world.
Then you worked with Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yngwie.
Yeah.
Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen. When you hear guitar players now who do something called shredding, right?
Okay.
Neoclassical shredding. That was started by Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen was 19 years old when he went to America and shredded the life out of everybody. And he, in the same way that guys like Hendrix and Eddie Van Halen changed the way people play guitar, right? Yngwie Malmsteen helped change the face of guitar playing for the next generation. And he's an astonishing player. I used to sit with him. We used to sit together and watch Formula One Grand Prix in his living room. And he would sit there with his Stratocaster and his little Marshall amp and play some astonishing stuff. And then somebody would come into the room and he would turn into Yngwie Malmsteen and shred, you know. But he's a lovely lad and he's a great guitar player. And I liked him a lot.
What was it like, though? What was it like?
In what way?
What was it like?
Oh, we always got on really well. You know, when I joined up with Yngwie, you know, it was kind of set out. He said, I've had problems with singers in the past, Doogie, and I just want to make it clear to you that I'm going to write everything. you will sing whatever I tell you to sing, because I like your voice and I think you can do it justice. And that's what we did. And I had 7 years doing it with Yngwie. And the thing is that I knew what I was signing up for. You know, I had no, there was no undercurrent. I signed on to be the singer of Yngwie's work. And that's what I did. But running parallel to that was a band called Cornerstone that I had with Steen Moggensen from Royal Hunt. And we did, during my time with Yngwie, we did 4 albums together, Steen and I, and a live album, and we toured. So I was getting my writing and the things that I wanted to say and those needs that writers have to satisfy with Steen that I wasn't getting with Yngwie. But with Yngwie, I was getting to tour the world and getting to play some great tunes, you know. Sometimes the sound checks were better than the gigs.
How was your relationship with him? How was your relationship?
Fantastic. I always got on really well with Yngwie. You know, it's to do with egos, you know. And I have a little bag here that I got, and whenever I go on tour with anybody, because it's not me that's selling the tickets, right? So, and it was Yngwie's songs, it was his band, it's what he wanted to do. And so that was fine with me. I just put my ego in a wee bag, give it to my wife and say, darling, I'll be home in 2 months. Give me my ego back when I return. And that's the simplest way to do it. Because it was fulfilling for me to be singing these difficult songs by all these great singers that he's worked with, you know, Mark Bowles and Graham Bonnet and stuff. So it wasn't a chore for me. I mean, we went out and we would do 6 weeks, and then we'd have 6 weeks off, and then we'd have 6 weeks on and 6 weeks off. So just as you were getting to the point where you thought, I can't do this anymore, you would go back home again and you would rest and you think, I wonder when I'm going to go back out with Yngwie Malmsteen again. And the phone would go and off we'd go. I always got on well with him. He's a lovely lad for a Swede.
You made 2 albums with him. What was the writing process like? Is he very hands-on?
Well, he used to come down and pick me up in his Ferrari in the morning, right? 11:30, be ready. So 11:30, I was showered and shaved and ready to go. And we would drive by Starbucks and we would pick up our coffee for the morning. And we would drive over the freeway and over the bridges back to his house. And we would finish our coffee. Then we would go and play tennis for 2 hours. And then we would go in and we would spend 3 hours or 4 hours recording the vocals for the song of the day. And he had written it the previous night, the lyrics and the melody the previous night, and we would sit down and he would try to sing it to me, right? Yngwie's not a singer, right? I mean, what he does apparently he's singing all his on his new albums. But he used to try and sing me the melodies, and I said to him, please don't, please. Play it on your guitar. So he would then play it on the guitar. And I could sing along to the melody played on the guitar because he's such a good guitar player. Not such a great singer. It works in some things, but his guitar playing laid it all out for me. And we just would go in and we would do 1 song a day.
What caused you to part ways with him? What caused you?
It's what happens with these genius guitar players, these guys. It's their name on the tin, right? It's their name on the ticket and their name on the outside. And when they run out of ideas, then what they say is, we'll change the musicians in the band, then we can use the same ideas again, but just with a different voice. So Yngwie phoned me up and he said, hey man, you know, I'm going to be moving in a different direction. I'm going to go more Queen, Iron Maiden, and I don't think you'd like it. And I went, okay, keep in touch. And he went, okay. And then 20 minutes later, it was announced that Ripper had joined his band, you know. So, but that's just the way it works, you know. They move people around because it keeps them fresh. It keeps their energy levels up. There's nothing worse than traveling and working with the same people for 7 years, you know. If you can change them around and get somebody in that's equally as good, then that works.
Would you work with them again?
Oh, I work with people who I like to work with, who I like, and I liked Yngwie. You know, him and I got on really well. It's not something that's on my radar. It's not something that I would follow up, go, Yngwie, give me a job. You know, that's not that. But if he wanted me to sing a song on one of his albums, I'd be more than happy to do that for him. You know, because we always got on really well. You know, it's you never close. You learn in this business never to burn your bridges, never close doors and throw away the key. You know, because you never know what's round the corner. So you always have to be battle ready.
Now, you were the front man for Alcatraz. How did that come about?
Graham Bonnet, who has been the lead singer of Alcatraz since Yngwie Malmsteen was in the band with Jimmy Waldo and Gary Shea, is an old friend of mine, and we've toured the world together on a number of occasions. And Alcatraz, the album was called Born Innocent, which was just released last year. And it went to #1 in Japan. It went to #1 in Germany. And then Graham quit the band and to go and do something that's closer to his heart, music that's closer to his heart. And so he kind of left Alcatraz and without a singer. And they called me up and said, look, we've got a tour. Would you go on tour with us to promote Born Innocent? But of course, that tour was cancelled because of the pandemic. And I said, well, during this downtime, why don't we write another album together? Why don't we just do an album? So we've done that. And it's called 5, or V, which is the Roman numeral for 5. And it comes out in October. And we've done 2 videos for 2 of the songs. The first song we wrote together was Turn of the Wheel. And that's on YouTube as a video. And then the other one is called Sword of Deliverance, which is also there as a video. And these are the first 2 songs that people can hear where the new version of Alcatraz is going musically.
The new track, Turn of the Wheel, was awesome, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was I just love it, man. It was very unique.
Thank you.
Now, are you still part of Michael Schachner Fest? Are you still part of it?
Michael's put the fest on hold just now, as far as I'm aware. I did 2 Temple of Rock albums with him, right? Bridge the Gap and Spirit on a Mission. And then after those 2 albums, we did 2 albums together with the Michael Schenker Fest with Graham Bonnet, Robin McCauley, and Gary Barden. We did 2 albums of that. Now he's moved on and he's got a new lineup of Michael Schenker group, MSG. And they're going to be touring at some point. And they released an album, I think earlier this year or late last year. I haven't heard it. And I don't know who's in the band today, but it's not me. But I'm sure that somewhere down the line, we'll do another Temple of Rock album together, because there's still some unfinished business there that needs to be attended to. Or there might be another Michael Schenker Fest album, depending on the appetite of the record-buying Michael Schenker fans.
Is it awkward being around Graham Brutney? Is it awkward?
No. No, Graham and I have been the only awkward moment Graham and I ever had was when we were staying in London, and Graham stayed at my house, and I was up the stairs, and he came, and I came down, and he went, "I'm terribly sorry," and I looked, and he was holding a part of my staircase in his hand that he'd managed to break. That was an awkward moment for him, not for me, because it meant he couldn't get out of the kitchen. But no, we got on great. We got on great, Graham and I. You know, what do you do? Somebody leaves the band. Do you fold the band and go, well, because I've left, it's over? No, you don't do that. You go, get somebody else in. And if it hadn't been me, if it hadn't been Doogie White, it would have been somebody else.
Now, how did the lockdown affect you personally? How did the lockdown?
This is the longest. At Christmas there, just past, Christmas 2020, from March, that was the longest I haven't done a concert ever since 1984. You know, I've done I did 6 gigs in 2020. That's all. And I used to do 6 gigs a week, 3 on, 1 off, 3 on. And we had, with Michael, I'd been in rehearsals extensively to start a world tour with the Michael Schenker Fest. We were starting in Japan in the March. And I'd just come back. The virus had just hit at the very beginning, the very end of February. And the Japanese were ahead of the curve. They shut it down. They shut down the tour before it started. And so that meant that all the shows that we had, we were starting in Japan, we were ending in South America in October. We had festivals with Kiss and Iron Maiden. We had an American tour. We had Europe, everything all lined up. But it all just went away. So what I did was I released this, as we've talked about, you know, the as Yet Untitled. Then I signed a 3-album deal with a record label you'll have heard of called Frontiers. And I got a project together with another Swedish guitar player. He's a nice guy for a Swede as well. His name is Emil Norberg, and the project is called Long Shadows Dawn, and the album came out on Friday, the 6th of August, and the album's called Isle of Wrath, and it's a cracking record. I'm so pleased because we finished it on New Year's Eve 2020. That's when it was finally finished, and I haven't heard it since. And I listened to it on Friday there, and I had it in my car, and I thought, goodness gracious me, this is a great record. And it really is a good record. It's powerful, it's punchy, it's vibrant, it's exciting, you know, and I'm so pleased with it. It's the best album I've done in the last 5 years. There's no shadow of a doubt about it.
Did you get to have a chance to write a bunch of music? Did you have the chance to write a bunch of music during the lockdown for free time?
Well, that album, Long Shadows Dawn, the project is called Long Shadows Dawn. The album is called Isle of Wrath, and I wrote that during the lockdown with Emil Norberg from Sweden. That was released on the 6th of August on Frontiers Records and is available worldwide. It's also on Spotify apparently, but I haven't done that. And then no sooner had I nearly finished that album than the Alcatrazz guys contacted me, and we started writing the Alcatraz album, which I think we finished in March or April, and that comes out in October, and that's a heavy record, man. And full of shred and metal. It's the most metally album I've been on for a long time, and it's really good.
Well, kinda. So I guess the lockdown was kind of good, you could say, for you, kind of a little bit.
Well, I think kind of it was good for me. I like to keep busy. I like to keep active, and I like to work. So we'll see. Let's hope that next year, let's hope that 2022 is kinder to all the musicians and all the crew guys and all the venue owners that have been on hold, so that we can get back to doing gigs to play for the fans that are out there who are starved of live music. But while you're starved of live music, you can also buy this. You can buy this, and you can buy Long Shadows Dawn as well. Which, oh, wait, I'll just go and get that for you. There you go. So while you're waiting, there you go. That's us Yet Untitled. That's my solo album. Self-promotion. Oh, you can't really see it. There you go. That's it there. You see that now?
Yep.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that a beautiful album sleeve?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, one's dark, one's light. Both very, very good sleeves, designed perfectly by great graphic artists that work for us. It's magic. So yeah, so there's plenty to be looking forward to, and we just have to make sure that everybody's safe and that everybody's well and that everybody's healthy, and then we can all get back to as normal a life as we're going to have after this.
I really hope that happens in 2022.
So do I.
Really hope so. Let's hope not COVID-21 comes.
No, we don't need that.
Oh God. What is the lockdown like now for you? Where are you at? What is
I'm in Edinburgh in Scotland. Edinburgh is the capital city of Scotland. It's a very beautiful city, and it's raining like you wouldn't believe. So I have plenty to do. You know, I've just got a new house, and so busy doing work in the new house when I'm not learning songs for the Alcatrazz tour, which should be happening in the UK in November, hopefully. COVID dependent, of course. And we'll just have to wait and see. Lockdown has, it's left me reflective, you know. It's and moving house leaves you reflective as well, because you put a lot of things in storage, and then you open all these boxes of treasures, and you find old photograph albums, and you find old cassettes, and you know what a cassette is?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I'm just checking. And you find all these different things that you forgot that you had, and you'll spend a whole day looking through them. And it's great. So lockdown hasn't been as hard for me as it could have been. But I can't wait to get back on the road again. I can't wait to be spending 6 weeks on a tour bus, touring around America, or getting on the bullet train in Japan, you know, or getting on the splitter bus to tour through Europe, or jumping on a plane and flying to South America. These are the things that I'm looking forward to. Or getting my skis out and going to Sweden. Swedish people are quite nice. Or going to anywhere in Scandinavia, you know. So I'm just looking forward to getting back out on the road there, and that'll make me very, very happy.
Now in States, everything was opening back up, but that might change soon.
Oh yeah, that'll change soon. Yeah. It's, you know, I don't really know what to say. You know, you have to just take care of each other. You know, if you're not prepared to take care of yourself, take care of those people around you, and stop going down rabbit holes. You know, no one's implanting microchips in you to turn you into robots or to track your movements. You know, this is a vaccine to try and save us all so we can get back to normal life. And if you don't believe that, then there's nothing I can do to convince you. I'm not a scientist. But I've had both my vaccinations because I think it's the right way to go to protect myself, to protect my family, and to protect those people that I come into contact with. And if I'm going to go on tour, I want to make sure that my bandmates and the crew and the people that I meet are safe from me. You know, I'm not worried that I'm going to turn into some sort of slavering monster, you know. And the more that we don't follow the simple rules, the longer it's going to be before we're going to get back to normal life. You know, putting a mask on, what difference does it make? You know, just wear it. It doesn't do you any harm. Draw a wee smiley face on it.
Yeah, draw a smiley.
Or a wee moustache. Do something. Do something to make it, rather than thinking that somebody's doing something to you. They're trying to save you from yourself.
And rather thinking that it's taking away your rights, the mask.
It's not taking away your rights, you know. It's asking you to do something for your community and for your loved ones, and to protect your grandparents and your mother and your children. You know, that's what it's asking. That's what you're being asked to do. You know, but it's a personal choice. You know, and I see that some bands are now saying that if their audiences can't show proof of vaccination, then they won't be getting into the gigs. I've seen that some bands are saying if their band members are not prepared to get vaccinated, they can't tour with them. Same with the crews, you know. Not until I think a lot of people, until it actually affects them personally, you know, they're going to be down this rabbit hole until it actually affects them personally. That's their choice. I don't want them around me.
A lot of bands are on tour but seem to getting COVID within the first week or two and having to cancel their tour. That's happening a lot lately.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it may have opened up too soon. We may not be following, you know, this Delta variant that's come in seems to have been causing problems. And now we've got Delta variant plus. And all the virus wants to do is mutate, you know, and until we can get it under control and have the majority of the population vaccinated, it's just going to continue to go through us all. And, you know, that and climate change. Wow, it's been a good couple of years, right?
Oh, yeah, climate change. Oh,
yeah, what with the fires and the floods?
Oh, but did you know something about climate change?
I know that. Go on, sorry.
It's okay. But they're actually making the machine. There's actually making this machine, and they're going to send it to the Antarctica and other places that, you know, with the ice and it's melting and starting to become more water, and then it'll rise the water levels. They're actually making a machine where it'll take the water or take the ice and make them back to ice. So it'll just keep putting ice out. So it'll just stay. Right?
Well, it'll need to be a big machine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're making big machines already. They're putting that out in Antarctica and stuff like that.
Well, I haven't heard that. I'll look out for the science on that as well.
The more you know, man. The more you know. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? About the canceled tour?
About what do I think of?
A lot of bands are getting COVID.
Well, I think, you know, I think that you know, this Delta variant spreads very, very easily, and it transmits. People are not dying from it the way they were dying in the early days, but it's still making people ill, and it's still giving people long COVID. And long COVID, I know a couple of people, not friends, but I know a couple of people, acquaintances who have long COVID, and it's bad, man. It affects different people in different ways. And we don't know enough about that. But I mean, I'm not a scientist. I'm just a rock and roll singer, you know. And the thing is, I mean, I can only do what I can do to protect myself, my family, and my friends. And it's in everybody's interest that everybody does a similar thing, you know. They don't always, but there you go.
Are you touring right now at all, or is it too scary? Are you touring right?
No, it's not. It's not scary. The venues are not open for touring. So I've got a tour booked for November, but that just depends on whether the bands stay healthy, whether the crew stay healthy, and whether the audience is healthy. I mean, I think it's crazy to be, if you're doing outdoor festivals, that's one thing. But if you're doing clubs, small halls, then I think it's mental.
What is your favorite memory from playing the show?
My favorite memory from playing a show. There's so many. It's difficult to say, I did a festival with Yngwie Malmsteen once, and we were playing. It was Iron Maiden, Ronnie Dio, and us, and Yngwie. We had a 50. I think we had an hour set, and I think Yngwie played guitar for 50 minutes of that, and I went off and did 3 costume changes just for fun, and he never even noticed. And I don't think the audience noticed either. So I don't know. There's so many memories, and I just enjoy gigging. That's what I enjoy. And you take a little something away from everywhere you play. Japan's different from South America. Texas is different from New York. LA is different from Chile. But it's all worthwhile.
What is your worst memory from playing a show? What is your worst?
Again, it was with Yngwie, and it was in Buenos Aires, and I played down there with Rainbow, and I had got an award. I hadn't collected it, but I'd been vocal something or whatever for whatever the year was. And I went back down with Yngwie, and my luggage had not was following around behind me. So if I was in Santiago in Chile, my luggage was in Mexico. By the time I got to Buenos Aires, my luggage was now in Chile. And so I borrowed a t-shirt. I got a tour t-shirt. I had flip-flops because I was traveling. I had, and the drummer lent me a pair of cargo pants, right? And this was my big return to Buenos Aires. My hair was, I had a bandana on. God, I can still see the shame. I can still see it. And I came down the stairs. It was a spiral staircase, and I come down the stairs, and I came onto the stairs, and I went, ta-da! And the trousers just split open at the groin, and my wee Willie Winkle fell out in front of 1,500 people.
Any children there? Was there any children?
Oh, there were no children there. It was all girls at the front.
Well, then.
Can you imagine?
I can't actually.
And then I had to put gaffer tape on. If you know what
Oh.
gaffer tape is, I had to take myself back in. It wasn't fun at the end of the gig.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
So listen, Jam Man, I've got another interview in 10 minutes time, so we're going to have to wrap this up if that's okay.
Okay,
'Cause
sure.
I need to set up for another one.
All right. I just only got 3 questions left. That's it. Is that okay?
Go on then.
Okay.
Go on. Let's see how we do.
What is next for you? What is next for you?
The next for me is promoting this album, which is called Long Shadows Dawn, Isle of Wrath. Then it's going to be promoting the Alcatraz album, and then it's touring with Alcatraz.
Okay. How do my followers follow you? Where can they go to your website?
I don't have it. My website hasn't been updated since 2014. I'm working on that. Your followers can, I don't know where you go really. I've got a Facebook site if that's any good.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Facebook.
That's it. It's just Doogie White.
Okay.
It's good. You'll recognize it because it's got this in the wee image box.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on my show. I hope the next time we talk is at the Texas or one of your shows, dude. Please.
Thank you, man.
I had a great one, man.
Peace.
Boys, man. You have a great.
All right. You
Enjoy
take
the-
care.
Bye. Have a good
Thanks, Jam Man. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.